Greetings, Spurs fans. Jason here at AxodysFC, and it's another sundown video talking about Spurs today. I'm in a little bit better spirits after yesterday's rainout discussion. I listened to a few different streams today, and more negative views than I have on most things, and all is right with the world. So let's see. First of all, what did I want to start with? Oh yeah, this was funny. Big weekend at the movies with both Oppenheimer and Barbie coming out, and it's funny. Even at work today, multiple people talked about watching both in the same weekend. They're in a younger demographic than me, but definitely was clearly a trend, and both did really well at the theater for what I understand. But anyway, I saw the funniest meme on Twitter. Oh, also known as X, apparently. But anyway, funniest meme where, and I think this was a common meme, where they put Barbie side by side with Oppenheimer and then compared them in some way or something. And in our case, the perfect comparison points were Bissouma is Barbie and Højbjerg is Oppenheimer. So got a good laugh about that one. And it sounds like actually Pierre's move to Atletico Madrid is progressing. I think he's just about agreed to terms with them, and so he's definitely interested in going there and playing Champions League football with Simeone. I don't blame him at all. I think he'd be a great fit, and it makes so much sense. So hopefully, yeah, it will work out, and we can get a little money from him, and we can put it towards center backs, perhaps. Improving our defense, anything like that. The other talk, of course, is that the person to potentially replace Højbjerg with is Conor Gallagher from Chelsea. Doesn't sound like he necessarily wants to leave Chelsea, but they want to move him on. They don't feel like he has a future there, maybe. So remains to be seen if anything comes of that. I'm not super hyped to go get another midfielder at this point. We still have questions about, what we're going to do with our younger guys. Like Skip seems like obvious 6 backup for Bissouma. And we still have multiple guys that like Tanguy and Ndombele and Lo Celso that are we moving on? Are we keeping? Do they have a spot? I don't know. So many questions. But anyway, in the meantime, definitely seems like Pierre is on his way. And on a funny note, I caught after the fact a couple videos ago, I had called him Pierre-Marie, which Spokane people might know, have caught that's a Zags reference, former player Pierre-Marie Altidore Cespedes. Way throwback. But anyway, this is just a funny crossing of the streams with my brain. It's Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, so P-E-H. Anyway, so I always appreciated him as a player. I do think he's totally a basically like the avatar for our midfield during this era of gross defensive football, and although I think he can do more, and actually showed some of his ability as a playmaker in the first preseason game, I think it just makes sense for him to make a move, get Champions League, take on a new challenge, and we get a little money out of it, and everybody ends up happy. So let's see. Beyond our midfield, let's see, what else do I have to talk about? So I mentioned that I watched a bunch of my Spurs YouTuber favorites, and there was some good discussion about, Richy and his flaws, and how, we know he had a bad season last year. But, basically, none of them have faith that he's going to turn it around based on his history, and they have a lot of reasonable arguments. But I would say there was a TIFO, a new one, that talked about should Tottenham sell Harry Kane or not, and it actually had some footage from the first preseason game too, and they one of the things that they talked about was how much better we played in the second half when Richy came in for Kane, and actually did the things expected of the 9 in Postecoglou's system. Harry Kane has to kind of unlearn some of the habits that he's had in the last 3 or 4 years, and I'm sure he can do that, no problem. But right now his current instincts don't align with what Ange is trying to do. And so I kind of hope that he will get a few games before anything happens further with Bayern, just so that we can see him, doing what Ange expects of him. But that remains to be seen if that's going to happen. I'm just hoping to get, some additional games. The Singapore game can't come soon enough, and so we'll see how that goes. But beyond that, any last thoughts before I wrap up for the night? Some of the streamers are also pretty harsh with Romero, which, I kind of agree with their sentiments as well, with his tendency to be rash and not always performing to his best. But anyway, interesting interview with Ali Gold. And he definitely responded pretty strongly that he absolutely wants to be at Tottenham, had other opportunities even going into the summer, and utterly disputes the notion that he was always Argentina first, and he would get magically healthy for Argentina, but not for Tottenham. And I kind of agree with that. I think he gets unfairly grouped with Lo Celso a little bit on that. But anyway, and I remember specifically one time where he did have an injury, and he came back sooner than expected, actually, and maybe than he should have even, which we know is certainly a trend for the club, with players playing injured maybe that they shouldn't. So anyway, it's good to hear from him, firsthand, that he definitely wants to do more for Tottenham and have a big year. And he likes, what he's been seeing so far for the preseason and under the new manager. And he definitely talked about how there was, when he came back from the World Cup, there was a clear divide between Conte and the rest of the team, or the players, I should say, after the World Cup. And it didn't, it just got worse from there, obviously. But on that note, I think I've covered all the stuff from today. There was nothing other significant. they're still working on Tapsoba and Van der Ven, apparently, and I feel like we've still got time to get that worked out. So hopefully that will be the case. And so on that note, I will say good evening, and I will talk to you all soon. Stay well, and remember, to dare is to do.